All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is October 19th, 2025. This is FTH 223 Week 5 final assignment where we are to disassemble our firearm and assess the areas, give it an assessment of the areas we feel might need improvement. And for me, this one's going to be fairly short because this pistol, for me, it's an example of one. I have only one of them, and in testing it out, kind of running it through its paces, it doesn't seem to have any rough spots. I've taken it apart and I've looked at the sides of the hammer and places that I expect to find some markings, some wear, and I'm not seeing any of that because this one, of all these are some of the cheaper pistols, and of all the ones that they've done, this one seems to be probably one of their better fitments. It goes together really well. So, I really don't see any areas that need polishing. I've gone over this thing with a fine tooth comb. It's probably like the 15th time I've torn this thing apart. And each time I look for the marks, things that are going to be what I consider to be problematic issue areas, like the sides of the trigger, sometimes these catching on the frame, or, this part catching on the frame on the inside where the the rear house sits on top of it. And it's just not doing that. There's no markings of any kind that are really showing problematic issue areas. With that one, I really don't see a need for any stoning or polishing. This one seems to be fairly good. So for part 2 of this video, we're supposed to assess our skill at performing a task like this for customers. Will we feel confident in performing this kind of work? Absolutely, I would, because this is not the first pistol I've had to go over and do this with. I've done it with the PSA Dagger Compact that we had. I've done it with the Taurus 856 38 Special snub-nose revolver we had, and some of my own personal pistols like my 1911 and some others. You can see the areas that are obviously going to be problematic because they'll have the scuff marks on the side of them, because this is going to move back and forth and it's going to rub any area that is touching it, and it's going to leave marks. It's going to wear through the black coating on this, and this one just is not doing that. It's not rubbing through. So with the experience I've had with the other pistols plus this one, I really don't see this one being a problem, or this kind of work ever being a problem, just because it's super just stupid simple. You don't want to alter the geometry or the angle of anything. You don't want to change the angle of the sear. Any part that catches and holds another part, you don't want to change those angles, because any change in those angles could absolutely horribly alter the firearm in a way that makes it unsafe and unusable. So, with that being said, I would not shy away from this kind of work. I would not run away from it and hide from it, because it is something that is so simple and easy to do. And we can also, while we're at this, show safe, because here's the barrel. The barrel's out of it, and the magazines and all the ammo were put somewhere else. So, nothing there. With that being said, that's all I have for you tonight, folks. I appreciate your time and you guys tuning in and watching with us. We'll see you guys next time.